Hey guys, Hydragon here, back here with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about the Phantom Troupe. In particular, I want to talk about the possibility of all the Phantom Troupe members dying during the Succession War. Now, I love the Phantom Troupe. I might be one of their greatest fans. In fact, contrary to popular belief, I prefer the Phantom Troupe to the main cast of Gon, Killua, Leorio and Kurapika. I absolutely love the Phantom Troupe, and it pains me to admit this, but I think their demise is really coming closer than we think. In fact, there was this panel in the latest chapter of Hunter x Hunter. I'll put it up right here. And in this panel, we can see that there's a parallel between the fight of Meruem and Netero, where Netero's come to this realization that he needs to give it his all to kill Meruem. And there's this blood stain, this black blood stain on the page. And this happened before Netero's death. And we've got the same blood stain on the page of Chrollo. His big moments where he's really ready to sacrifice it all to kill Hisoka. So I think that Togashi doesn't do anything, from coincidence. I think he's someone that's too good for that. He's too skilled as a mangaka, as a writer and a storyteller. So I think this pretty much all but confirms Chrollo's death. Chrollo's going to die. And it's sad. And even though, as Chrollo says, the design of his troupe is that the legs can move without the heads, the legs don't move as well without the heads. And in fact, the legs right now are trapped. Every single Phantom Troupe member is in quite the pickle. All of them are isolated with the exception of Illumi and Kaluto that, the Phantom Troupe members, who knows where their loyalty lies? Of course, they're part of the Zodiacs. Of course, there's always that question mark between Illumi and Ahsoka, and Illumi did reveal to the Zodiacs that the trooper on the ship. So, I wouldn't put that too much as a reassurance. And afterwards, we've got Sphinx and Phaeton, which of course two of the most powerful members, but they're heading towards the Hele hideout, where we've seen that the Nen users of Hele have really leveled up, with a dog being able to even tell someone's Nen ability. So it's very, very dangerous. All of them, of course, isolated by themselves. Bonomolov is an absolute danger, an immediate danger. Of course, we know that he's been transformed as Hisoka, and he's been trying to find the real Hisoka, which he did. And now we know that Hisoka is already one of the most powerful Nen users. We know that post-mortem Nen has amped him up. So it wouldn't surprise me if Hisoka has been able to tell that Bonomolov has been there. There's one manga panel from the chapter before the last chapter where Hisoka is saying, fine, I'll play with myself. And I see that some people interpreted that as Hisoka, talking about the plot line and the story. But for me, that was really him talking about Bonomolov, of course, playing with myself. There's two Hisokas currently in the room whilst he's saying that. For me, it seems like an obvious, an obvious assumption to come to. And then we also saw that Bonomolov transformed into the owl to try to get his cover. The problem is, Hisoka was a Phantom Troupe member when they discovered the owl. And Hisoka is someone that's unworldly clever. He's extremely perspicacious. In fact, he can notice small chinks in someone's armor and small differences. So much so that he was able to locate Chrollo during their fight, where Chrollo did everything he possibly could to try to stay hidden. And Bonomolov, we've seen that he's got a flaw. He isn't the most careful and precise person. In fact, we saw that in the way that he killed Lynch. Of course, he didn't do a very good job of hiding her decomposed body, so much so that it made Hinrei realize that the troupe are the one that killed her. So that put the whole Phantom Troupe in a pickle, even more so. In fact, Hinrei deactivated his ability, which of course, he put this transmitter in the Hele base so that the Phantom Troupe could find out where they are. And the transmitter just transformed back from the sandwich burger back into a transmitter. So it means that he's given up on helping the troupe and he's going to war with them. And now Sphinx and Phaeton are potentially cooked. Now they've got this transmitter that keeps beeping. It's a bit suspect and it's a bit too obvious. So Hele will work out what it is and they'll set Sphinx and Phaeton into a trap where absolutely every single one of their Nen users is waiting for them. So it's not looking good, not looking good at all. Another thing we have to keep in mind is how suspect it is we got the Phantom Troupe flashback right before the events of the Succession War, including and perpetrating two older members started. In fact, it really did escalate right after the flashback, and it makes us think, right? Togashi likes to make us feel more attached to characters before he kills them off. Now, that's a bit, that's dark. I mean, straight up, like, you chill Togashi. That's a bit sadistic, Togashi. But regardless, it's become a pattern and a habit in the series, so much so that it really seems like a theme that he likes to play on. We get to learn more about a character, whether that be through flashback, through characterization, or through plot development, before things end up going astray. Now, we also have to keep in mind the fortune from York New City. For a while, it looked like the fortune was irrelevant. It looked like the Phantom Troupe had managed to change their fate and save themselves. But then Topi and Shalnock died. In fact, they died in the exact way the fortune said they would die, and they were two of the members that were said to die. Shalnock's fortune saying that when he gets a phone call, and that's exactly when he dies. So I think that that's really interesting, the fact that we know that at least half of them are going to die. So it's very eerie, the fact that they're going to be so secluded in numbers. How will the rest of the troops survive when they're completely outnumbered and outpowered by all the other forces in the Succession War? I mean, Krollo's going up to the higher tiers where the actual powerhouses are, and Chechedinich, Benjamin, and Halkenberg. So it makes me wonder, how long can the troop last, and in what order will they die? Because really, I don't see a way they can get out of this. The fact that they're all so isolated is dangerous. We know that Nobunaga is currently going right now to confront... It looks like he's going to confront Kenny Wang, about how, the Haley members are actually in the sewers, and maybe he's figured out that he's betrayed them. So that's going to be interesting. But we also know that Nobunaga is someone that doesn't have his original sword on him. It's likely he conjured up a sword, which conjuration is on the opposite, side of his Nen ability. So it's like one of the Nen affinities he's weaker in. So I feel like that should take a lot out of him. He's also been using his N a lot. So I don't think Nobunaga is at full power. In fact, we saw that Phaeton's been rusty. He's been rusty ever since before the Chimera Antork. So a lot of the troop members haven't had a lot of real life combats as of late. It is very, very dark. And it looks like it might be a total extermination. In fact, the Phantom Troupe members are looking like they're going to die to set up this theme of intensity and to give stakes and progression to the characters. It'll be interesting to see how Kurapika reacts to their deaths and about how that will impact him. Of course, he's still got the goal of Chechedinich. How does it feel that it couldn't have been him that did it? Now, to be on the positive side, the only way I see him getting out of this is if somehow Krollo stealing the free treasures of Kakin, especially the mummy one, somehow, takes away the protection of the ship, and they're able to get out of the black whale and, slowly make their way back to the real world. But honestly, that's just me, my positivity, man. I don't want them to die. I love the Phantom Troupe. I love them so much. And I think that it's because we've been grown so attached to them. It almost feels like it's been done on purpose to rip our hearts out. Like, Togashi, he's had this long-term plan of the Phantom Troupe. They were never meant to be the end goal. They were always part of Kurapika's characterization. They were an obstacle for him to overcome, just like the Hunter exam in the first arc was an obstacle for the main cast to overcome. So yeah, it's sad, but pains me deep inside, man. And what hurts even more is just this manga panel where they all said and they all swore that they would die for Krollo and die for the troop. And it looks like this manga panel is going to be taken in the most literal sense possible. And that is quite sad, it's quite tragic. And it'll be the end of possibly the greatest villain group we've ever seen in anime manga. But yeah, if you got any suggestions for videos you want me to do, please leave in the comment section down below. I do all the videos you guys suggest. I do Hunter x Hunter videos every single day without exception. So if you like Hunter x Hunter, I'd appreciate if you subscribe. But if not, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you've all had an incredible day. And this was Hadrigon. Peace out.
羽ばたいたら戻らないと言って目指した